Hi everyone, it's Bianca here and I'm back with a new tutorial. Do you want to know how to crochet the perfect square without seeing a beginning or end? Then grab some yarn and a crochet hook and we will discover how to crochet this square. Start with the magic circle on the hook. And then we begin with our first double crochet, that's a chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. Now in the magic circle make 2 double crochets. It's 1 and 2, then a chain 2 for a corner. 1 and 2, then go back into that magic circle with 3 double crochets. It's 1, 2 and 3. Now we have to make a corner, chain 2. 1, 2. Back in the magic circle with another 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3, then we have to make a corner, chain 2, another 3 double crochets back into that same magic circle. 1, 2 and 3, and then a last corner, chain 2. This is your first round. Now we close the magic circle to pull in that short tail. So here. And then we have to close on top of the very first double crochet, that's a chain 3. Normally I put the needle in to that last stitch here, from the top stitch of that chain 3 in the third chain. Then I grab the yarn and pull through to close the first round, and then we start with a chain 3, counts for a first double crochet normally. But now we make a invisible join in the beginning, so I pull out my join stitch. So here's our last double crochet, then the last corner, chain 2. Then we have this. Now we close that invisible join. So I make a little loop and then I go out with the hook out of my loop here. Then on top of the very first double crochet, that's the chain 3 in the third chain stitch, we go under to that little V here on the top of the third chain from behind. So from behind under through that whole stitch, it's 1 and 2 loops, that whole V stitch. So you have 2 loops on the hook here. Then I turn my work to the other side and place that loop back on the hook, and then I pull to close that stitch. Your working tail is on the back of your granny square. Now hold your working tail here and then pull that working loop through the 2 loops of that chain stitch. Turn your square to the good side. Then we have this, and your working tail is here on the back of your work. Now make again a little loop, then go out with your hook. Then here that working tail, we yarn over that working tail and then enter the hook in that chain 2 space. Then place that loop of the last loop here back on your hook, so you have 3 loops here on your hook. Then with your working tail yarn over and pull for 2 loops on the hook, so we have 2 loops left over on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook, and then make 1 chain. And this is our first double crochet here in the chain to corner space. To complete the corner, we have to make 1 more double crochet. We work all the way around, and then here on the end of this round, after we work the last double crochet of the last double crochet here, we make 2 more double crochets in that chain 2 space, and then make a chain 2 before we close with a invisible join stitch. So yarn over and enter hook here in the chain 2 space to work the half corner complete. So we have here 2 double crochets in the chain 2 corner space. Now on every stitch here, that's 3 double crochets, you work on top of every stitch 1 double crochet. 3 in total. For a straight side, 1, 2 and 3. We make a corner in that chain 2 corner space, 2 double crochets in that space, 1, 2, then a chain 2, 2 more double crochets back in that same chain 2 corner space, 1 and 2. We have to make a straight side, 3 double crochets on this side here, on top of every double crochet a new double crochet. Then a new corner in the chain 2 corner space, 2 double crochets in that space, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets back in that same space. Then 3 double crochets on a straight side, then we can go on with the next corner, 2 double crochets in that corner space, chain 2, 2 more double crochets in that same corner, and now on the last straight side 3 double crochets on every double crochet a new double crochet, and then we have to work our first corner complete. In that chain 2 corner space we make 2 double crochets in that space, and then a chain 2, and then we have to close on top of the very first double crochet, and that's that stitch here in the beginning with on top that chain stitch, and then in that chain stitch we go from behind to create a invisible stitch. We pull a loop, go out with the hook, and then here we have here our first real double crochet, this V-stitch here, and then that V-stitch here for that double crochet, that's our chain stitch. Under through that whole stitch, that V from behind, then turn your square upside down, place the working tail, the working loop back on the hook, then close that stitch, and then pull that stitch through that chain. Then turn your work to the good side, and you see that you have here your working tail on the back of your square. Here's the chain 2 space, and we start in the chain 2 space, make a little loop, go out with the hook. Now grab that little loop here, with your working tail yarn over your working tail, enter your hook in that chain 2 space, place that loop back on the hook, so you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over with your working tail, pull on it for 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull for 2 loops on the hook, and then make 1 chain. This is our first double crochet here in the corner. Back in that same chain to corner space, make 1 double crochet in that same space. This is the beginning, the half of our first corner. Now work your stitches all the way around. On top of every double crochet a new double crochet, and in every chain to corner space 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets all the way around, and I see you here back to make our last corner complete. I make my stitches all the way around. I have to create 1 more double crochet here on the straight side, and then we have to close that last corner, so we make 2 double crochets in that chain to corner space. It's 1 and 2, then we make a chain 2, and then we have to close again with a invisible stitch. I'll show you one more time. Make a little loop, go out with your hook, then enter your hook here in that chain 1 on top of the very first stitch. Here's your first real double crochet in the corner, that stitch here, and then that little stitch here to the side, that's the chain stitch. We go from behind, turn your work, enter the loop back on the hook, and close that stitch, then pull under through that chain stitch, turn your square to the good side, then your working tail is behind your work, behind your square. Make a little loop, go out with your hook, grab that stitch, then your working tail, yarn over with your working tail, enter your hook here in the chain 2 space, and place that loop back on your hook. Yarn over, pull for 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull for 2 loops on the hook, and then make 1 chain. To start the first corner, we make 1 more double crochet back into that same chain 2 corner space, and then we work all the way around again at the same way. So on top of every stitch 1 double crochet, and in every corner 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets all the way around. On the end of this round we have to complete the first corner with 2 double crochets in that chain 2 corner space. Then make a chain 2. Now we make our last invisible join. We cut the yarn, not too short, and open up that last stitch, that chain 2. Pull your hook all the way up. Then I grab a needle and then we skip our first stitch. That's that first stitch here in the beginning, that single crochet with on top that chain. We go to the wheel, first double crochet on the top, under through that V, then pull through, go back to the last stitch, and that's the chain 2 in the second chain in the middle of that stitch, and then we go also here on top of that chain stitch, only in the back loop, then pull through. Now in the back I make a little knot, go under through a little stitch, pull through, under through that same stitch, make a little loop, put the needle into the loop and then pull to make that little knot, and then weave only in the back of the stitches the tail in. Then skip one stitch here on the back and go to the other side, also only in the back of the stitches. Then via that tail of the magic circle, pull to close that ring. And we make again a little knot here on the back, under through a little stitch. Pull through for a second time, pull through, make a little loop, and the hook through that loop, and then pull and weave also the tail in on the back of the stitches. Skip one stitch to the other side. Then cut both tails. And here's our perfect granny square. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click on the notification bell so you don't miss any new tutorial from me. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time. Bye!